Welcome back. We're going to go over posts. One thing with businesses is that I usually get is, we're a business, we don't need a blog. Well, blogs are, really a great way that you can expand your content. So if you're trying to rank for certain keywords or whatever, it's a really good opportunity to be able to expand on being able to use those keywords. If you have any questions about, how to do the content part of it to help you rank better, give me a call, let me know. I do not mind, sharing with you how you can make best use of that, and how you can do it yourself if you want. If you don't have time and you still want to do that, we can definitely help you out with that. Anyway, just like with your products, you want to start with categories first. I may have already set up your categories for you. If not, that's going to be the first place you're going to go. And this is going to look very familiar because it's set up pretty much identical. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a news section. And this is news about your business. Let's say you do your ribbon cutting. Let's say you hire a new employee. Let's say you've got a write-up in a magazine, or you have an interview with somebody or whatever. This is pretty much going to be the place where you put it. This is also where you put like product announcements, those press releases that you can pretty much put on your website. This is a good way to keep people in tune with that you're busy, that you've got things going on. So if people want to go into business with you, perhaps a wholesale situation, they'll see that you're a good business. Okay, now since we're a clothing store, one thing is, and we've only covered like women's clothing, so I'm going to kind of go off on that a little bit. As a dress shop, one of the things that, I would probably expand on my content on would be fashion tips. We might do hair tips. We might do, putting together the perfect wardrobe. Pinterest is awesome for this kind of stuff. And if you're a dress shop, I hope you're on Pinterest. If you're not, you need to be. But this is a really good place where you can actually extend your knowledge of fashion and, things like that into the website. Because if people are searching for things, they may come across your blog article quicker than they would your products. And if you've ever done any searches and you've come across blog posts and articles, you understand what I'm talking about. And you might be talking about a new line that you're carrying, and then you pique their interest, and then they go buy a shirt or a pair of pants or something. So that's something that you can definitely do. Regardless of what type of products you carry or services you provide, a blog or an article section is a great way to be able to expand on that. If you're service oriented, what I would do is I would set up your categories based on your services. If you go to our website, ours is a really good example on how we have done this. So if you're service-based, please go to Lighthouse Web Designs. Take a look at how we have broken up our categories on our blog area, because a lot of our articles come up really good in search, and it's because we've labeled them web design, search engine optimization, social media, and these are the types of services we provide. So if you provide, let's say, business systems, the big print, the big copiers and scanners, and they pretty much do everything these days. But let's say you do that. You would want to, do some on, copiers, how to, you follow what I'm talking about. So base it around your services and the type of things that you do. Product-based, again, think about who your clientele is. Like we did with the dress shop, you're going to want to keep that about what's interesting to them. Fashion would be huge to them. So keep it about fashion tips and things like that. Beauty shop, same thing. Real fashion sense, what's trendy, what's going on right now. So again, you add your categories the same way you do for your product. The name is pretty much what they're going to see all the time, what your visitor is going to see. And then this, of course, is the URL friendly. So that's what actually shows up in the URL. So you want to keep those as user friendly as possible. And you can also set up parents and all that, just like we did with the products. Okay, so to add a post, I'm just going to go ahead and click over here. We have no post now. So to add a new one, we just go in here, and this is the actual title. So let's say this is covering our ribbon cutting that we did. I'm going to go over here and just, copy some text and stick it in here. Whoops, that is not what I wanted to copy. Let's see. Oops. Well, apparently their copy to clipboard button is not working on their website. So I'm going to come over here and just copy paste it in. So this is our actual post. And just like we did with the About Us page, you can add images. You can add video like we did on our product page. You can add links like we did, but you can also kind of block quote some of these out. Now, depending on how we've coded your website, these block quotes may look different depending on, again, how we've coded it. And just a block quote, that's all you pretty much do. Now, you can preview the post before you actually post it. And I'm just going to go and preview it just so you can see kind of what that block quote looks like. The way that they have it styled is it's just italic, with a little bit more space perhaps in between, a little bit thinner font, just so it kind of stands out a little bit. You can, of course, add images. You can add lists. You can do numbered lists. You can bold. You can italic. This is very similar to what Word has available. So just play with these little buttons, and the different editing options, and see whatever works for you is fine. Now, another thing you can do is if you do have an e-com, and let's say you're writing up a review about specific products or a product category or whatever, and you get down to the end and you actually want to put this in the blog post. Now, it's okay to do this as long as you don't do it all the time, but on a product review, I believe it's okay. So let's say you get a new line in, and you're talking about the new line, kind of maybe you quote the designer of the new line. Again, we're still with our clothing store. And let's say you want to actually add the product in here. You can actually go through and you can add them by SKU. You can add different categories. You can add all kinds of different things into the specific blog post. So, that way people can easily get to the products, and it's a really good way to convert people that may be coming in from a search engine that didn't see the products, but they saw the article. So that's one thing to keep in mind. You may or may not see this format part. If you don't worry about it. It's not that your site's broke or anything. Just sometimes it features it and sometimes it doesn't. The categories area, again, this is where we set up our categories before. If you need to add a new one, just go ahead and do that. Just make sure and keep it organized. You don't want something that's similar. Like we have news here, you wouldn't want to add another one called company news or what's going on at the company or anything like that. You'd want to kind of keep them all to where if I clicked on news, I know that I'm going to get on all the different news about the company. So that's one thing to kind of keep in mind. That's one reason why I suggest that you set up your categories first. So that way you kind of have an idea of where you're going to go and how you're going to do the content part of your website. Okay, tags. This is just another way that you can separate it. Like let's say with the news section, I mentioned about ribbon cuttings. Maybe you have a new staffer. Maybe you, you have a press release or something. Maybe a good one for this one would be press release. And then you just kind of add it. And what it will do is it will actually create a link that I could go to where I could actually click and view all of your press releases. So this is just another way of organizing the content to where if people are on your website and they want to see other press releases, they can. Again, the featured image, as I said before, this is just the standard theme that comes with WordPress. And I don't really like the way that it puts the featured images throughout the page. However, this will also give you an opportunity to be able to dictate what is shared whenever this particular post is shared. So I would definitely recommend, and if you look at our website, I'm going to be adding a blog post on different ways that you can create neat graphics that are easy to be shared, and they're more likely to be shared on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, things like that, that will actually link to your page, and that actually helps you get the content out there. So in other words, you're promoting your posts. And that's one thing that I'll cover in my blog. So if you don't see it by the time you're reading this, it means I'm still in the process of getting it done. But that's my goal for this week. Let's see what else was there. Like I said, we're going to go through the Yoast plugin on the next video, actually. So whenever you're ready, you just hit publish. One of the cool things about this is let's say somebody walks in and you're like right in the middle of this post. You can actually save the draft here, and it will save it and it won't go anywhere. Even if your computer shuts down or internet goes off or whatever, you're not going to lose what you've done. So I do recommend saving the draft if you're going to get pulled away from your computer. Another thing you can do is you can publish it whenever you're ready. So if this is maybe a review of a line that you've got coming in a week and you really don't want to post it yet, you can post it maybe to go out Friday. So you would just kind of choose this, choose the date, choose the time that you actually wanted to post, and then hit OK. So if I was to choose maybe the 20th here, you notice right now this little button says publish. Once I change it to a future time, now it says schedule. So this is scheduled for the 20th, which right now it's the 17th. So if I was to go back in here and I hit it back for the 17th, and hit OK, you see that it says publish. Now another thing that you can do is you can backdate. So let's say that you're just now getting your website, but you've done ribbon cuttings, you've been featured in magazines, you've done this, you've done that, but you didn't have your website up yet. You can still post about those things, and it's a good idea to go ahead and do it, because the cool thing is you can actually backdate it. So let's say that you know, maybe you did a fashion show, and again we're on the whole dress, the clothing store. Let's say you did a fashion show a year ago. Just change the year and then hit OK. And now this is actually going to say that it was posted on August 17th of 2013. So it's as if it was actually added that date. So that's a good way that you can keep a good archive of kind of what the company has been doing, what you've been doing. You know, and post your ribbon cutting for sure if you've already had it. Post pictures, you know, do thank yous, the whole 9 yards, and then share them on Facebook. If you're backdating, I wouldn't recommend sharing it because that just kind of looks a little weird. But, you know, you might want to say, hey, did you check out our ribbon cutting? But anyway, the next thing we're going to do is go over WordPress, the plugin, Yoast for your SEO. So stay tuned. We'll talk to you soon. Where's my stop button? Hold on. Shh. Oh, here it is.